Welcome to Win Souls TV again. It's Bright Evangelist. Let's get right on into it. Now, I had to write this down on the note card today. Just little bullets so that I can help you guys out. Now, the Lord let me to create a video on keys to deliverance. Now, in this video, He really wanted to talk about self-deliverance. Now, you're not delivering yourself, but no, you are calling upon the Lord with no one else in the room in the natural. And He shows up and delivers you Himself personally. Now, of course, even if you did go to a deliverance minister, it would still be the Lord delivering you. But what I'm saying is, it's just you in the room by yourself, calling on the Lord, crying to the Lord, asking to be set free. Now, the first step is literally assessing yourself. Now, you have to ask yourself, where is your focus? Where is your focus? Is your focus on God? And when I say God, I mean Jesus Christ. Or is your focus on the circumstance? Now, if your focus is on the circumstance, that is one of the biggest problems that you can ever encounter. Why? Because you will always be looking to yourself or the circumstance. And what do I mean by that? When you look at the circumstance, you can view things from two different ways. Either God is too big for your circumstance or your situation, or the circumstance is too big for God to take care of. Now, venturing a little bit deeper into that, it can also lead to ego and pride when you venture into the circumstance, because then you start to focus on yourself and how can I set myself free? What can I do? What counseling can I get into to set myself free, right? And it leads to pride simply because once you do accomplish something in that specific area, you say, I did it. I accomplished this. But in all reality, it's God. It is God that is setting you free. And Satan loves it when we focus on the circumstance, because he knows where that leads. He knows where that leads. So be very conscious of that. Is your focus on God, or is it on the circumstance? The next thing is whatever you are asking deliverance for, is it something that you truly want to get rid of? Because in Psalms 34:17, he says, when the righteous cry out for help, He hears their cries and delivers them from their distresses. And I know that to be true because He has done it for me. He has done it for me in pornography. Set me free, snap of a finger, right? And so the reason that I ask that is simply because this can't be something that you are approaching and then it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, and if it doesn't work, then I'll go back to whatever I was doing, or, this, that, and the other. It can't be like a haphazard, I'm kind of halfway in there or halfway not in there or this, that, and the other. It has to be, look, I am literally squirming. I am scratching. I am so disgusted with myself, and I am so desperate to be set free that there is no other option. Lord, right now, you're going to have to do something. You are going to have to intervene, because if not, I'm not going to ever be able to stop whatever it is that I need deliverance from. So you are going to have to step in. You are going to have to step in, because I can't do it on my own. And I've come to that realization. Until you are in that place, I would recommend asking the Lord to lead you in that place, because that is the very place that is necessary for you to be set free. It is the power of desperation in this situation. The power of desperation. Also, going back to the pride statement that I made earlier, when you accomplish something, yes, you look to yourself, but then also you will also consistently be looking for some type of counseling, or you will consistently be looking for some type of individual to come and set you free, like another deliverance minister, or a deliverance minister that has his own channel or YouTube channel or this, that, and the other, asking specific people to pray for you. keep in mind, these people are we're all Christians, okay? We all have the same God living on the inside of us. Now, some of us, through consistently moving out of obedience, consistently making things real in our life, making the spiritual things real in our life, and walking this walk for a very long time, we carry the presence of God more strongly. So I can understand that, but realize that it is not the person that is setting you free. It is God through them that is setting you free. So never ever focus on the circumstance. And then the next thing is always assess whether this is something that you are haphazardly venturing into or something that you are squirming to be set free from. So the next thing, ask the Lord why it is that you specifically continue to go back to this action. Why is it? What is the underlying issue? Ask the Lord why. Why is it? Perfect example. I used to masturbate simply because I felt lonely. I felt lonely during those specific times in my life, right? And when I felt the loneliest, that's when I would masturbate. So it wasn't the fact that I had only an issue with perversion, but the deeper issue that he brought to the surface was the fact that I masturbated out of loneliness. And I have no shame in that, because there are so many people that literally are squirming to be set free, but they're too afraid, and they don't think that anybody has ever gone through that. These specific topics are kind of taboo, because a lot of us as Christians pretend that as soon as we get saved, it's just kind of like, oh, now I'm perfect, and I'm going to pretend like I'm perfect, and this is how you should act as a Christian. No, that's not how it is. That's not how it always is. Sometimes it is like that. In terms of not pointing your fingers at other Christians, but I'm talking about as soon as they get saved, it's just like, man, it's like a jolt of energy. But it wasn't like that for me. It wasn't like that for me. I didn't have that powerful presence of God just come on me as soon as I was saved. It wasn't until I actually started walking with him that those specific things started happening for me. So a lot of times he will unveil the very thing that you need deliverance from. And majority of the time, those are names of demons, by the way. So moving on to the very last thing is three simple steps. The very last thing is when you are asking the Lord to set you free. When you are asking the Lord for deliverance, and I'm talking about self-deliverance again. When you are asking, ask with all of your being. For me, what did that look like? I was beating on the floor. I was crying. It was snot coming out of my nose. It meant that much to me to be set free, and I was not gonna stop until it happened. Until it happened. It has to mean something to you. You can't just be going through the motions. Now, sometimes you will ask the Lord, okay, Lord, ask the Lord for something specifically, and it will happen just like that. Other times, you don't have to sit there for a little while and continue to chase after it, and chase after it, and chase after it. And if that doesn't work, fast. Whatever it takes, you have to be in a place to where you are squirming to be set free. And in total dependence upon God. And nothing that you are doing on your own power. Because it is not your power that is setting you free. Otherwise, you wouldn't need deliverance. It is Him that is setting you free. I hope these steps have helped you. So step number 1. Assess the issue. Assess your heart. Am I focusing on God? Is my focus on God? Or is it more so on the circumstance? Step number 2, ask the Lord to unveil the very thing that causes you to continue to go back to this action. And step number 3, press in with all of your being. Your mind, your eyes, your mouth, your heart, and however that comes out in the natural. For me, it was crying, snot coming out of my nose, me yelling and screaming, beating on the floor at times that I needed deliverance. And it would happen. It didn't happen that way for pornography, but in other areas concerning depression, that's what happened. And I felt literally, real small story time, I felt literally a fire come down from heaven and touch me. This might sound crazy to some, but I'm being honest. It was a fire that came down, and immediately my tears sobered up, just like that. And I stood up and I was like, man, I feel hot. Not only do I feel hot, but I was like, man, I feel amazing. The depression, the anxiety, the worrying, gone. Snap of a finger. And it was like, while I was beating on the floor on my hands and knees, it was like he was standing right beside me. And he spoke to me in that moment. Now, the full testimony of that is for a different time. But all I'm saying is, the desire for you to be set free has to mean something. It can't just be you going through the motions. Ask yourself, are you serious about this? You can't straddle the fence. Can't straddle the fence. You go in with the intent of not only just being set free, but never going back. And not being okay with simply just, oh, I just gave in to temptation. No, it's not okay. That's not okay. I'm not trying to be hard on you, but what I'm saying is you have to have that mindset. Okay, when I step into this, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Y'all be blessed, and I hope that's a blessing to you.